Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I had a contingency in place
Oh, really?
in case you didn't wake up.
Really?
I was nervous because I was like, I didn't know you were asleep or not, and I
Yeah.
was finishing up some work. And as I was sitting there, you didn't respond, and I was like, man, I think he may have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
But we
The
didn't
big
have.
conk
But we don't have an episode set
fell
up.
upon me.
And we don't have a backlog right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh man, we got to do something. So I was about to sit up here by myself and just make it happen.
Make it a solo endeavor.
Yeah, but luckily that did not happen.
Right.
And Dylan pulled through. Here he is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, round of applause for the big man himself. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Right.
Appreciate it.
It's
No,
quite
please
standing
hold.
ovation.
Okay, hold the applause. Hold there.
All right,
okay.
shut up.
Thank you. Stop. Stop. We actually. I mean, are we gonna? Is it okay if I just show him how the sausage is made, or do you not want to?
What you mean?
We didn't watch this episode. We didn't watch this movie tonight.
Nah. Yeah, we did.
Okay, yeah, we did. We watched it. It's fine. So you popped on this film,
Mm-hmm.
and I had never heard of it.
I was surprised, honestly. At least a little.
I started to realize that I don't think I've watched. Let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
If I have watched any Clint Eastwood movies, I don't think I overtly knew it.
Yeah.
It may have been by happenstance on television once upon a time.
Just here and there.
So like when I think about it, I know who Clint Eastwood is. I know what he's famous for.
Yeah.
I know the actor, and I've seen, I think, clips. But like when I think about it, I'm like, I don't think I've actively sat down and watched.
Right. Not
like
too many full films in his repertoire.
Exactly. And this film,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly's Heroes.
Indeed.
And man, just the opening sequence,
Mm-hmm.
that proper level of film grain,
Yeah.
and like the kind of interesting font they chose for like the title sequence
Oh,
in the
yeah.
beginning
Large red cursive.
Yeah, like almost serif, like calligraphy font a little bit, but not too aggressive.
Right.
Anyways, it's super cool. It's a big, bold font. It was really nice.
Yeah.
But man, does it feel like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, dude, that just feels so...
Oh.
Yeah. of that time period where
Right.
everything has that kind of feel because everything was made with the technology that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was enjoyable. It was an interesting look.
Mm-hmm. We start off with a couple of U.S. soldiers who have got an officer in custody trying to make their way out of a camp
Yeah.
that is currently under bombardment
Right.
by their own forces.
Yeah.
Now, it is a harrowing escape out of this place. For the most part, they go unnoticed until they have to, until one dude passes the car, does a double take, and is like, wait,
Yeah.
you don't look German.
Wait a moment. Something is suspicious here.
Right. They proper hightail it out of there
Right.
by the skin of their teeth because there are shells dropping every which way.
Yeah.
Pyrotechnics in this film are off the chart, by the way.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
I love, before we get, we couldn't kind of jump back and forth, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the specifics of this film.
Yeah.
But the locations all felt like it felt what I would think of when, like, the German countryside kind of vibe.
It was filmed in Yugoslavia.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know which part, but
Right.
that's the
It was
the
like,
setting.
it had like a great, it all felt on location.
Mhm.
It all felt real. Everything felt practical. if there was anything that wasn't real. Like, I mean, it was probably very minor, or I mean, I didn't notice it, or they covered their tracks well enough.
Mm-hmm.
We have tanks in this film. We've got rifles. We've got military
Guns,
fatigues,
trucks.
Everything feels not only proper of the time period,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Authentic
and in the location where it feels like it's not on a set or on a green screen or anything. Right. It all feels very practical, which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
and
I
love that.
Big open pastures to work with.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of the German countryside.
And like old, like cobblestone buildings and things like that are just, it's super cool. I love it. It's a cool look for the film. And because like, when I begin to think about like, when was World War II? Was that 40s?
I want to say in the 40s, yeah.
That's what I thought. So this being filmed in the 70s, like
a few decades
afterwards, but like you could still get your hands on, I'm pretty sure, like all the props or all the actual mechanical equipment that was properly used in the war 30 years ago.
Decent stockpile.
Yeah. Or you could at least, find a collector or something. You could find a way to make it happen.
Some nut who hung on to all this stuff.
Like how we could find cars that are potentially 30 years old that still drive, and we could use those cars, or we could clean them up enough to make them look like they're well loved in a film, which I think is cool. And I'm saying all that because there are a lot of these vehicles, these tanks, these weapons that are so, I mean, compared to this day and age, they're very old.
Oh yeah,
we're closer to 100 years than less than.
Yeah. Oh God, that's insane.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
So it's like we're on the other end of 50 years, where it's like we're on the greater end of it being like so. Like trying to find, at least I can only imagine. I could be speaking on my butt, and I could be very wrong. But like I think it would be harder to find like a whole film set worth of World War II Jeeps and tanks that are operational that everyone can jump into. But I could be wrong. There could be a whole contingency of those things that actually operate or not.
Who knows?
But if they are, I don't see them.
Right.
I don't see like that kind of stuff in my day-to-day life.
Kept in some insane underground Indiana Jones type warehouse.
Yeah, right. So this film, not only is it probably, well, I don't say probably. Not only is this film looking back at a not so distant history and kind of paying homage to it in its own kind of fun, creative way. Right. But now, like, watching it now, even farther in the future, I want to say, dude, oh my gosh. The 70s were 50 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I don't mean to do this to you because before we even started this podcast, I started having a trippy feeling on time and how the perception of time is. But I won't bore the listeners at home with that right now. But I'm going to tiptoe into what I was talking about with Dylan beforehand. Yeah. I want you to think about this for a second. This was filmed, or at least published, in 1970, which means it's probably being shot sometime in the 60s. Or, whatever. Right. Hypothetically, I don't know the exact dates, but if this released in 1970 and World War II was in the 40s, or let's just say for this hypothetical 1940 exactly, that is 30 years between that time gap. Right now that we're past 2020, in this hypothetical, it is actually the distance between right now and the release of this film is longer than it was
between the actual historical event and the filming of this movie. Yes.
Thanks for putting that into words, because I couldn't eloquently put that into words. That's the kind of thing that trips me up right now. Yeah. So that's what I mean by saying is that in the hypothetical scenario, or in this kind of thing I'm talking about, where in the 1970s, they may look back at that and go, "Oh man, that was old. That's World War II stuff. That's old stuff."
But us, future folk,
and that's what I'm saying.
That shit's fucking ancient.
I feel so far removed from it that it's like, man, it doesn't even feel like it's the same. Like it all kind of feels in that same vibe, but I know that's not the case. The 70s were very different from the 40s,
of course.
Especially as far as technological advancements. So,
dude, I'm kind of dreading the fact that in a few years I'm gonna be able to say that World War II was a century ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't even. Anyways,
Yeah.
I can't even think of it.
Mm-hmm.
But so, anyways, like I've kind of been singing praises for this film so far.
Right.
Like I said, all the props, everything feels properly weathered and lived in,
Right.
and as you would imagine,
They sell it.
They sell it very well. It feels very much in the universe, in that world, and it feels very very cohesive.
Yeah.
The continuity.
I'd like to hope so.
Right. I think it's a fun story.
Oh yeah.
The basic premise of the story is
Comedic even.
a little bit. There, as we had mentioned at the top of this episode,
they got this officer.
Right, and they got him back. They're bringing him back to this barn. They got all staked out.
Right. He's got a briefcase handcuffed
Yeah.
to him. Has a bunch of files in there.
Yep.
As well as lead, quote unquote, weights, in case he is ever captured.
The lightest, most suspicious lead.
Yeah. Yeah, a little scuffed looking. Upon further inspection.
This lead looks awfully shiny, eh?
Yeah, and gold.
Mm.
Turns out they're full-on gold bars.
Ingots, if you will.
Yeah, from a stockpile.
I'm on that proper ingot shit, if you know what I mean.
Right. Oh man, I'm about to get my ingots.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently
Should be smelting my ore till I ingot. I'm sorry, I had to.
They've got a stockpile.
Yes.
14,000 of these things in Clermont.
Yeah.
Which is a little town about 30 miles up the road.
Right.
Now, how he's able to come upon this information is by loosening the officer's lips with a very nice brandy.
Brandy.
And,
I will not tell you anything. I mean, you don't have to. That's fine. Just drink.
Right. Just have a drink. I
Yeah.
just want to have a sociable conversation with you. And they get orders to pull out because Mulligan, one of the artillery commanders, is currently peppering their location.
Yep.
And they promptly skedaddle the fuck out of there.
Skedaddle.
Right. But Kelly stays behind to finish his interrogation and get any possible info that could help him ascertain the position and details of this gold.
Gold.
Right. So then he starts putting the plan together.
Right.
I love the scene in that little barn house initially where everybody's just hanging out in their trucks.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting for orders, either scouting or just getting whatever info they can.
Right.
And
I love a good like war movie squad
mm-hmm.
that has everyone's like special call signs
Right.
or like what I know as call signs or whatever their like kind of nicknames are.
Yeah.
Either you call them by their last name or they have some sort of like kind of funny nickname that goes along with their personality or something. I love that. It feels like a bunch of just a bunch of dudes being guys.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And there's a couple of characters that I at the beginning of the film so far, I'm beginning to kind of fall in love with because they're so fun.
Yeah. Let's see. We are introduced to Cowboy
Yeah.
and Willard.
I love Cowboy, dude.
The dynamic duo.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. I don't know what you mean by 3 tanks. There's about 20 of them out there.
There are about 20 of them out there. What did he say? Damn. He had some really good lines.
Oh yeah.
Really
funny
funny
stuff.
But yeah, there's some great characters.
Mhm.
Like there are really fun side characters, I think.
Yeah.
I think some of them could have been a little bit more screen time, but that's just a personal thing. But
yeah, we got Big Joe.
Yeah.
The de facto leader of the platoon.
I think he's Major Sergeant or Master Sergeant, I think is what it is.
The head
Big
honcho.
Joe. Yeah.
He's definitely a favorite of mine.
Yeah, he's fun.
Say.
So the thing I'm kind of confused about is that we kind of get some exposition on what happened to Kelly.
Yeah.
Because people treat him as if he has rank, but they don't.
Right.
It's almost as if they're like an implied respect of rank.
Yeah, he used to be a lieutenant.
Right.
Real high ranking official. And at one point he had gotten orders, really bad ones, that ended up causing a friendly fire incident.
That's crazy.
Got a lot of people killed.
Damn.
So he took the fall for that.
Right.
And ended up in the same unit as all these jokers.
And the sad thing is here I'm seeing on the character sheet, character list, it says that he's Private Kelly. So they really did they really brought him down to the bottom, which is like, damn, that's messed up.
Sucks real bad.
Yeah.
But, I'd say he makes it out okay.
Yeah.
Now, as he comes upon the gold, the stockpile that is supposedly in a little town,
right,
he starts putting a plan together, starts gathering up folks, seeing who's in and who's not. One of the first people he goes to is Mulligan.
Yeah.
Who immediately starts groveling and begging for forgiveness after last night's mishap with the artillery strikes. And he's
basically
just
trying to kill his own people.
Exactly. And he's just like, hey, shut up.
Look
at this.
Shut up.
Now, there's more where this came from. If you are able to strike this particular quadrant from me at this date and time. So I'm just going to leave this with you as a bit of an investment.
Yeah, right. A little down payment.
Right. And he's like, you're not going to forget about me, are you? And after that, he starts heading towards a man going by Crap Game, who is a logistics and apparently economic expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ascertaining the value of any Nazi paraphernalia and leftover treasure, if you can even call it that are taken from the field.
Yeah.
Now, once Kelly gets up there, he's got another gold bar.
Right.
Just to get him on the low, showing him what's at stake. And he's in, like, right from the get-go. He,
of course,
makes a call trying to get the current market value of gold.
Yeah, and from France. I think they're close to France, I think.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as it comes back, he does the math about the 14,000 bars of this stuff, and it comes out to 16 million.
Right.
And some change. So, hard to really pass that up.
Right.
So, of course, he's in. And after that, it's just a matter of getting more people together. Now, fortunately, or unfortunately, at the time, you could say, Oddball just so happened to have been listening in, which is a commander of an armored division of 3 Sherman tanks. Now,
he's Sergeant Oddball is what he goes by, and he's played by Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
And I've never seen young Donald Sutherland, which is interesting. I've always seen him with, gray hairs and older gentlemen.
Right.
And so seeing him in this film for a moment, I was like, whoa, this is kind of trippy. And I was like, because I never really, because his face is the same. And he has a beard in this one, which I know he's had in some of the other films I've seen him in.
Right.
And it was just like, man, this is kind of weird, but kind of cool though, because he plays like this like hippie character that's like super like all about positive waves, and I really enjoy his character.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
He's so funny, and he just I like him because he presses everyone's buttons in just a way, like not quite to annoy them, but just like make them
throw them off.
It just to make them unsettled, a little uneasy. They're just like, I don't.
Right. Something's wrong with you.
You're a freaking nut, dude. What are you? What's wrong with you?
My favorite thing about this guy is how he describes his unit and his tanks.
Yes.
He starts off by going, we like to keep sort of a lackadaisical feel about us.
Yeah.
Give the impression that we're very tired and in need of rest and reorganization.
Yeah.
That way nobody bothers us.
Yeah.
And oh my god, as soon as he gets to the tanks, dude, he's like, these tanks are very special. Not like any other Shermans you're going to find.
Right.
Because we got the grease monkey, the mechanical mastermind.
What do you call it? It's the was it mastermind? Or was it? He said like a miracle worker.
I'm sure it was mastermind or something along those lines. But he hypes up their mechanic because he was able to fit their engines so that they're able to get in and get out faster than any other tank on the field right now. we like to get out of trouble as fast as we got into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got a loudspeaker.
Yeah, it's
equipped on the tank because we like to play very loud music.
Yep, he says
get into combat.
I think he says
it calms us.
It calms us,
right? And in case that ain't enough, we've got this big 90mm pipe strapped onto the tank because it may convince the Germans that it is a prototype of some sort and therefore very dangerous.
It's bigger than it actually is.
Right. So they may think it's some sort of secret weapon or advanced version, which is baffling.
So
it's just a piece of piping just put onto the right-hand side of the tank. So it does nothing.
And he also says that too. He's like, we just keep this pipe here just, as like it makes it look like it's actually going to be like a 90mm. It's pretty legit.
It's hilarious.
That's awesome. And very true.
Yeah.
I think like once you're like a war scenario.
Right. You don't know what the fuck the enemy's
working No. You start flexing a little bit. People be like, oh shit, dude, I don't know what that means. What is that?
Yeah.
Was there an extra long cannon on that thing? Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, that's easily one of my favorite introductions in the whole film.
Oh yeah. And he continues that the whole film to kind of be this like wacky kind of, oh, I don't know, baby.
Right. Whatever you say.
Waves.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's fun. Each one of like the main cast, we just talked about Big Joe, Crap Game, Kelly, Oddball, Cowboy, or they're all kind of funny characters in their own way, and I think it's really cool to see the kind of the squad dynamic come together, like we talked about in other episodes of this show and everything. Is I like a good squad dynamic where there's like a bunch of different people that all kind of have their own specialties and stuff, and I love that. I think it's fun. Diversities and all that.
It reminds me of Valkyria Chronicles.
Okay.
Which is this World War II styled, almost like fantasy world.
Really?
Where you take control of a platoon and or battalion of people, usually involving a tank commander. And it is one of my favorite strategy games that I've ever played. It's super fun.
I think, wait a minute. Didn't you tell me about you?
Yeah, I'd been playing the first one for a while, showing you a couple of levels from it here and there.
Yeah.
I fell off of it as soon as like Grand Blue and shit came out, but I definitely want to get back to it.
I think, isn't the one that was kind of like, I said it kind of had like an XCOM vibe?
Yes. It works very similar, only XCOM is less real time than Valkyria, because as you're moving your troops in XCOM, they can't be fired upon unless the enemy has like Overwatch.
Oh, okay.
And if they see you, they'll start firing. But in Valkyria, while you're moving your troops, they can just fire at you whenever.
Holy
if
shit.
You're within range. And it is nerve-wracking trying to get into a good position to take these fuckers out before they kill you.
So the movement is turn-based, but the attacks are not?
The attacks are turn-based. It's just anybody can fire on anyone if they're moving within range. That goes for tanks as well, and they'll fucking melt your infantry like they're nothing.
Bet.
As a tank it ought to do.
Oh, right, of course.
And other than that, it's pretty up there as far as I'm concerned.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Real fun.
So I didn't realize this was like kind of this is I think this movie is considered a war/comedy movie. I didn't know this was intended to be a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense looking on it retrospectively because it is kind of
funny.
Because it's a funnier take on like the war kind of movie trope, I think.
Right.
But in the moment, I was like, I just thought that this was kind of just part of how the characters reacted and how they are.
Right.
So I didn't think it was like kind of intentionally trying to be funny, but I thought it was like, it felt very natural is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like nothing felt like a forced joke.
Mm-hmm. I remember the morning after, once Big Joe gets his orders to move his men out, one of them goes, "But my hair is still in curlers."
Yeah. That was Babra.
Right. Oh my God, dude, Babra. That poor kid.
Big Joe kept calling him Barbara, and he's like, "But it's Babra.
My name's Babra, Joe."
But my name is Babra.
Oh man.
I think Babra was the one who said that, or maybe it may have been another person. But
yeah, that was.
But my hair's still in colors. What am I gonna do?
Oh man,
it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun little film.
Yeah,
I say little, but this actually was a 2.5 hour film.
It ended up being a bit longer than we initially thought.
It was a 2.5 hour film, and not only that, it also like the pacing was slow.
Yeah.
And I think
not like plotting, but
no. But just
slow in a good way.
Right. I think it progressed on its own time, which I think is fun. And I think with all the characters that it had and how important they all are.
Right. There was enough stuff going on to where it didn't feel boring or felt like it dragged on or anything like that.
Right.
Thankfully. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, I would say.
Yeah. But because of that, there are some moments where they kind of linger a little bit longer than I thought they would have, which is not bad, but it just is. It's one of those things where
that first little camp out scene, whenever Kelly convinces them to move out on the goal,
right,
comes to mind.
Yeah,
where they're all just hanging around, getting the specifics of the plan done. That's when Kelly bites the bullet and tells him about the 3 Tiger tanks that are guarding the town as well, which are notoriously dangerous tanks.
Right.
That were considered nigh unstoppable.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so of course they're like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah.
Not telling us about these.
Another thing, like, how do I put this? I don't want to jump to the ending quite yet.
Yeah.
But that was the only time I felt sad in a few moments whenever like a couple of the people didn't make it and some things kind of like traumatic stuff happened. But dude, like the last bit of the movie when everyone's celebrating.
Oh yeah.
That creeped me out.
Really?
Yeah. It felt I felt like the movie took a tonal shift. Like I thought we were going to be like all of a sudden like in a horror movie now or some sort of like dreamscape.
No.
Yeah, it was like I understand. I think what they were trying to go for.
Right.
But for me, and this may just be a me thing, but like I could be wrong, but like it did not translate well on the screen. Like I get the what they were trying to accomplish with that kind of like
as soon as they find all the gold, it cuts between all the soldiers and like the townspeople celebrating their liberation.
And it doesn't feel like a fun, uplifting. It's so weird to describe and put this feeling into words, except for just uneasiness.
Huh?
Did you not experience any of that?
No.
Okay, damn. Because like the celebration lingers for a little bit longer than you expect.
Yeah.
And the camera keeps showing up in front of like these like French town people.
Right. That
are like have no teeth. And I think it's probably just like a thing of that area and stuff. Mm-hmm. It feels off because of like how the camera is like zooming into their faces, and has that kind of like horror theme or like the horror vibe of like like the kind of like like kind of like the zooms into it, and then as it's happening, like everyone's like, it's not like a it's more like a like it's a from my perspective. I could be definitely wrong, but it just if you've ever experienced or ever have that. The Joker comes to mind,
right?
Where the Joker begins to laugh, and you kind of may laugh with him, but whenever he laughs a little too long, and it kind of just is like a little bit forced, and it's like you're not. It's like a forced laughter.
Yeah, no, this is a build-up. He's gonna murder someone in like 5 seconds.
Exactly. So at first I was like, that's kind of fun. Oh yeah, and we kept like cutting back to like random townsfolk that were just kind of like and I was like, oh my god, and it kept going. I was like, oh my god, I got very tense, and I was like, holy, it wasn't bad. Like I wasn't about to go, stop the movie or anything, but for a moment I was like, oh, dude, what is happening? Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. That like I because it felt again we're having this like very fun and this kind of
the culmination of all their efforts.
Yeah, and it's but like I'm talking about the film. Like the film is like has a jokey elements. It's fun. They'll kind of do little jabs here and there. It gets a little sad because of, like they lost a few troops and things like that. And then I was like, and at the very end, it's like the movie is about to end, or what feels like it's about to end.
Yeah,
got all the gold, things about to happen, and then it just kind of feels like I was like, it started. You know what it is too?
What?
You know how in the everyone talks about the creepiness of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he's
one scene.
Just that one scene in the tunnel where he's like, we're going, and everyone is know, all that kind of stuff or whatever. It had that sort of feel for me where it's like, maybe it's just something that happened in the 70s where just is the way they filmed it. Maybe it's the angles. To be honest, I kind of want to watch it again to just kind of get my feeling for it. Yeah. Maybe I was just tired whenever we were watching it, but I don't.
It was pretty late.
Right, but I don't remember. I don't remember feeling drowsy or I wasn't dozing off. So anyways, it was weird, and it was a weird feeling, and I was like, I don't know.
Damn. Do not celebrate around Ian.
No. You can't. Like, I just don't.
Joking.
Just don't do like the horror scare zooms and.
If there is a cameraman present, get rid of him immediately.
If you're gonna like genuinely laugh, then genuinely laugh, but don't like I mean, like you just have to.
We're free.
That's what it felt like a little bit. I was like, are you guys excited, or are you just like I don't? Anyways, it just.
Oh, that's great.
Who knows? Anyways, it was a little funny, weird, but it just for me, like I said,
rubbed him the wrong way
because like I said, it was a tonal shift. Like the tone was different. Like it went from being kind of like a, even though it was like kind of comedic, like it didn't feel like slapsticky. It like I said earlier, the comedy felt very natural because it felt like stuff the characters were saying, and it felt very genuine to what the characters were doing. So I was like, oh, it's not a really big deal. But like because we've like established, I've watched 2 hours worth of this war film where like there's actual like gunshots and explosions and like tense espionage moments and
the fucking town
we can talk about that.
Shit.
But like and then and we got Clint Eastwood like just looking
being Clint Eastwood,
exactly, just looking into the distance going like just
right,
and it's like
the trademark
shit.
scowl,
exactly. So it's like we have this whole tone is what we're going for here. We're like in that kind of like hard war atmosphere. It's kind of dirty. You can tell it's kind of hot out there while like a lot of guys are like sweating and stuff and everything. So it's like you have that whole vibe, and the comedy kind of feels like it's thrown in with like little jabs here and there for people. And then like I said, towards the end, it was just like I feel like we're in Willy Wonka's Funhouse for like this kind of celebration scene where like everyone's all. And I think it's also because, like, again, the town feels like a ghost town, only speckled with like
you only see a few civilians like here and there,
right? But like
for the most part, everybody's just in their homes.
But but you don't see that, and I don't think I couldn't comprehend how many homes there were.
Oh yeah,
because it felt like an abandoned town with Russian soldiers there. So the second, and I mean
you mean German?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
it didn't.
It's
bad.
okay.
German soldiers there, and it felt very much like I said, abandoned village that is being overtaken by the government in some way, or by some,
the Nazis.
Exactly. So whenever they end up like knocking out all of the Nazis and everyone but you don't get to see them coming out of the woodworks. They're just there.
Right. They just appear.
Yeah. As they're like kind of shoveling away gold, there is a crowd. I mean, a crowd of people.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, so I think it's
They
just
start
like
a parade.
they already have banners that are just like revolution. And I was like, did you just have that shit like
at the ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had that in your closet ready to go.
The mayor saw them and was like, "Oh my god, I've been waiting for this.
Oh my god,
here we go."
Yeah.
Oh man.
So like I said, I just felt like because of that, and that was where it felt like a comedy more than anything else. Of like, okay, this is kind of wacky,
right?
And the general shows up,
dude. The fucking general, dude. That guy is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
he's like this short, stocky
American
little dude who is not concerned at all with like the like inner workings of how well, no, that's not fair to say. He still has like a decent grasp on how command structure should be working, and it isn't.
Yeah, he's very upset that they're not. There's no action happening. There's no forward momentum. It's all kind of like
no one's got the gusto, the fighting spirit.
Everyone's kind of bouncing around and kind of like being, they're kind of tiptoeing around the issue and stuff like that. And he very much is one of those guys that wants to just kind of, get to action, get
into
pushing.
the thick of it.
Right.
And he wakes up one morning and finds that apparently some of his forces have broken through the enemy lines.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know who,
right,
or how. So he starts chewing out the communications officer. Like, what's the point of having a communications officer that can't communicate? It's just like going nuts on these people.
Yeah.
He's able to like get radio transmissions of Kelly's men, and they describe their nicknames as some sort of code.
Right.
If it's like that in depth where it's just what they go by.
Exactly.
But he starts listening into like their current operation. Like they're trying to cross a bridge that's been blown up.
Right.
And he is like, he's getting into it like he's listening to a football game.
Exactly.
On the radio. And he's like, that's what I'm talking about. Who are these men? I need to shake their hand and give them medals.
Right.
And so he immediately mobilizes some of his forces to like meet up with them wherever they're at. And he says to one of his goons, like, fetch me my box of medals.
Yeah. It's fun.
Oh man. And like during this whole ordeal to cross the bridge and get to the town, Oddball comes through a train tunnel.
Yeah.
And just happens upon a contingent of soldiers doing a bunch of manual labor. I don't know what for. And he stops at the tunnel, gets the game plan put together, throws them out in like a diamond formation for his Shermans. And the loudspeaker just starts immediately.
Oh, yeah.
For like a few seconds, everybody's like, what the hell is that noise?
Yeah.
And then they just see a tank come out of a tunnel and open fire.
Right.
Like indiscriminately. It's so fucking funny.
I can't remember what is it called? War Anthem of
War Hymn of the Republic.
Yeah. 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 I love it.
That's the one he plays after he shows up, able to after wiping out that entire area of German soldiers. He recruits a little backup because he's got to make a new bridge to get across after the one they were going to use is destroyed, and unfortunately spills the beans to a couple of other divisions about the gold.
Right.
Because of course he does. And thankfully, it being the case that Kelly's men and Oddballs are able to move forward without much issue, it's just the rest of them that have to stay behind because they're like frothing at the mouth over this gold and are super aggro about it. So thankfully they get left behind. And They come upon the town, are able to do some scouting, and this entire sequence is one of my favorite parts of the film, just because of how cool it is.
Right.
They've got Cowboy and I want to say Gestapo. I can't remember his name, but they're both in like a church bell tower, just surveying the location, getting enemy positions squared away. The 3 tigers are in the town square, right in front of the bank that all this gold is in.
Right.
So of course that's going to be their main obstacle. There's like a couple of gun emplacements on the roof, peppered soldiers here and there just throughout the town streets. And I believe Big Joe takes most of the men and comes into the town from one side.
Yeah.
Whereas Kelly sticks with Oddball and his tanks and comes through the other. Now, I say tanks, but Oddball's division has been brought down from 3 to 1.
Yeah.
So it's just him against 3 tigers. Now, the armor plating on these things is practically impenetrable. The only way you can effectively take one out of commission is by hitting it in the back.
Right.
Where the armor is weakest. And they're able to do this relatively well. Until one gets stuck in like a narrow walkway. And they're able to lay down a shot on it, but it's one of the paint rounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oddball says it freaks people the hell out. And he just he just hops back into the tank for a second and is like, load up a live round, please.
You're right.
We're not using paint. After which they promptly destroy the thing. Now, after a couple very effective flanking maneuvers, they get it down to 1 tank that is currently going berserk in the town square, just blowing shit up left and right. And after that, the Sherman breaks down.
Yep.
Big Joe makes it to Oddball's position, where he is just sitting in a chair. And Big Joe goes, "What are you doing?" To which Oddball responds, "I'm drinking some wine, eating some cheese."
Yeah, and catching some rays.
Right. And he's just like, "Why?" "Well, tank broke down, you see, and can't really fix it right now." It's like, "Well, why don't you get up and help?" It's like, "I just drive the things, man. I don't know what makes them work."
Damn.
It's perfect. It's so fucking funny. And after that, they start weighing their options because the rest of the U.S. Army is like right behind them, general included. So they try to appeal to the German in the Tiger and get him in on the deal.
Yeah.
Because as it stands, he's the only one that can get them into this bank because their tank is busted and he's got the only working one. So we get the big 3, Big Joe, Oddball, and Kelly, and they just slowly walk down the street towards this tank.
Yeah, I mean, in the most, like, comedic.
Yes, we got the Western, like, twang music playing. We got the spur sound effects added for their boots with no spurs.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oddball opens up his holster pouch.
Right,
and
just has his sidearm at the ready.
Just pulls his sidearm out and flings it sideways to kind of just have it out and just holds his hand at it like he's a like he's at a standoff.
Right, like it's a 6-shooter. And
I saw that whole scene and I was like, for a fact they did that because they got Clint Eastwood.
You have to. But
I almost said Cleastwood.
So miraculously, the tank does not open fire on them.
Right.
The German gets out of the tank, hops down onto the ground, and they get to talking. Deliberations ensue. Big Joe brings him on the level of like, "Hey, man, we're just soldiers following orders, and we're not really getting anything out of this the way it's going right now, but..." Oddball brings up, it's like, "Do you even know what's in that bank you're guarding, man? $16,000 worth of gold."
Yep.
Now, somehow, I'm sure because of how valuable it is, the German was not informed about what was in his post. So, of course, he goes wide-eyed and is like, are you fucking serious right now? So, an equal share of this could be yours if you just blow open those bank doors for us. And it and it cuts immediately to the door fucking exploding.
Oh yeah, and I love that.
Yeah. So they all flood in. There's a big tarp covering assorted boxes in the middle of the lobby. And Kelly opens one up. The tension in this scene is fucking palpable, dude, because you don't know if it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's always...
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was all gone, or it was not actually gold.
Right,
it was just lead or something.
Right. So he opens up a box, and it's chock full of bars. And thus, the celebration ensued.
Yep. The wacky-ass celebration I was talking about.
Man. I forgot... Because the last time I watched this film was like way back when I was younger. And it was just on TV.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember what it was for the longest time, even though I have had this thing on my shelf for like the past couple of years now.
Okay.
But it's probably one of my favorite World War II movies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little fun fact for you. Supposedly, Donald Sutherland, that portrays Oddball, contracted spinal meningitis.
Oh my God.
As with other types of meningitis, this variant can be fatal. It can cause inflammation of the fluid and membranes around the spinal cord and brain. He actually contracted this while filming this movie.
Oh my God.
And it said that the crew had to contact his wife and tell him to immediately come to Yugoslavia where they were filming. And they warned her that he may not actually be alive by the time that she got there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because it was potentially bad, but who actually knows?
Right.
But thankfully, he survived the infection. Everything was
goodness.
all good. And so like taken care of.
God.
Yeah,
I cannot imagine
that's
that.
wild.
Jesus Christ.
Scenes got moved around during the editing process. It's only after filming that the directors realized a certain part would fit better earlier or later on in the film. This was true for this film, Kelly's Heroes. It says that you may notice that when going to visit Staff Sergeant Crapgame, Clint Eastwood's character Kelly brings him a bottle of whiskey. However, when he visits Don Rickles' character later on, he's given the exact same bottle.
Oh,
okay. Have fun.
How about that?
It's likely these scenes were switched around during the editing process, with the initial intention likely being that the second one would occur earlier in the movie, but actually didn't end up happening. Another little fun fact here, it says that obviously people reuse a lot of sounds for things.
Oh, yeah.
And it says that, did you know that that the noise made by the electric motor of the Tiger tanks moving around was also used in Alien?
Really?
And it says that they used the sound for the movement of the power lifters in the sci-fi film Aliens.
Cool.
So
Nice.
some sort of kind of sound.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Mm-hmm. I need me a power loader.
Yeah, dude. Kelly's Heroes pays tribute to Clint Eastwood Western films.
I never would have guessed.
I never would have guessed.
Oh, man.
During the middle part of his career, blah, 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 spaghetti westerns.
Right.
The standoff with the German tank is almost an exact remake of the ending of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Not only for the mannerisms being the same,
Mm-hmm.
the film score is almost identical as well. On top of this, the sound team also dubbed in the sound of jangles over the scene, the jangles of spurs.
That's so funny.
But you can only hear them when you listen closely. So,
damn.
Good
stuff.
Do you know why they chose Yugoslavia?
Why?
It says that those aware of Kelly's Heroes production know the film was largely filmed in Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever wondered why? It's because the Yugoslavian army had a large quantity of M4 Shermans at the time.
Really?
Meaning they could feature the armored vehicle in the movie as long as they kept them there and were able to do all that stuff. So that's
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Man. As comparatively bad as it is, like when put up against other tanks, I fucking love the Sherman.
Yeah.
That thing is beautiful to me.
It's a fun looking tank.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that the Tiger tanks in Kelly's Heroes were actual Russian T-34s.
Wow. That's awesome.
And that's not, and I didn't mess that up. I know I messed up a second ago, but actually this is actual Russian.
Mm-hmm.
The Tiger tanks featured in the film weren't actually German tanks. They were Russian T-34s that had been modified to look like the Tigers from Germany.
Wow.
You can see this when you look at their suspension. The T-34s feature a modified Christie suspension, while the Tiger's wheels were more elaborate, apparently.
Interesting.
Don't know my tanks that well, so you could have fooled me. So,
man,
I watched this film. That's a Russian tank.
Right.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just looking around at some of these other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any.
That's all
get
good.
there.
I think we touched on all the good ones.
Yeah. The blue crosshair patch on the shoulders, worn by a number of the men in that squad, actually indicates that they are members of the 35th Infantry Division, a section of the U.S. Army National Guard.
That's cool.
That was called into federal service during the Second World War. The Infantry Division is comprised of guardsmen from Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska.
Wow.
Cool.
Neato.
How nice.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite character?
I mean, Oddball, hands down. Oddball. I like Big Joe too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fun character as well.
Yeah.
I always want to call him Tex.
Cowboy.
I mean, has some great lines, but I mean, I think his character could have been utilized a little bit more. But right here it says First Sergeant Mulligan, portrayed by George Savalas, is known for his inaccuracies.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. In the golf world, a mulligan is known for a do-over. I see it now.
Yep.
Meaning a chance to repeat a poor shot.
Amazing.
What a clever play on words.
Right.
Yep. That's good.
I think one of my favorite scenes with him was whenever it was time for Kelly's artillery strike that he had asked for.
Yeah.
He's sleeping with an alarm clock tucked under his arm. And as soon as it wakes him up, he has the gold bar in his hand, and he's using it like it's his communicator, and he just yells, "Fire!"
And then it rings again, and then he puts it down.
He grabs the actual one and is like, "Fire!" And then he falls back asleep. Oh.
Clint Eastwood only signed on to appear in the film because his friend Don Siegel was supposed to direct it. However, the director ran into post-production issues while finishing up working on the 1970s film 2 mules for Sister Sarah
Bo.
and had to withdraw.
Damn. Those 2 mules took a little too much time. But I think it turned out pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sergeant Oddball carries the wrong sidearm.
Yeah, it looked like a Luger.
Yeah. Throughout Kelly's Heroes, you'll notice that Sergeant Oddball carries a Luger P08 semi-automatic pistol, despite the weapon only being in service in Switzerland and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
An American serviceman wouldn't have had such a weapon assigned to him. But who's to say that he didn't steal it?
Right.
Just saying. Because I'm pretty sure he was also wearing a German cross.
I think so, yeah.
He was wearing his dog tags, and he also had one of the Nazi crosses, I think, as well on his thing. He may have been a little handsy.
Right, a little trophy.
You know. Kelly's Heroes wasn't always titled as such.
Really?
Prior to it hitting theaters, it underwent a number of changes. Approximately 20 minutes.
It first went as Mulligan's Mishaps.
Oh, was that right? Yeah. Approximately 20 minutes of footage was cut by MGM Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused.
No specifics on what footage?
Approximately 20 minutes of footage was cut by MGM Studio Booze James T. Aubrey, and the movie was even renamed with the original title being The Warriors. In post-production, it was retitled to Kelly's Warriors before the decision was ultimately made to go with Kelly's Heroes. Interesting.
That reminds me, we need to watch The Warriors.
What is that?
You'll find out.
All right.
We'll get around to it.
His look of a dejected disappointment, disbelief makes me feel like I should know about this movie, but I don't.
Oh, you will.
But the thing is, who's to say that I don't know about the film? Because actually, it feels like such a generic name. I could be like, oh yeah, I know that film, but I feel like you're thinking of something very specific that I haven't watched. So, yeah.
All right, you'll know. All in good time.
In later interviews, Clint Eastwood revealed how disappointed he was in how the film was recut, as many of the deleted scenes gave the characters much more depth. Some were still shown on promotional stills and were described by the cast and crew in the retrospectives special edition.
Damn.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. All right, just a little bit of fun fact for that one, because I feel like I haven't had a chance to really go through some of that, and I feel like this is one of those films, like I said, that is very unique in its own regard.
Oh yeah.
I think it deserves a little more love in that area.
I would say it is highly touted.
'Tis a good film, despite the wacky ending. It made me feel uneasy.
Right.
All right. Let's see. What are we looking like? Oh, yeah. We can end it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't gotta if you don't want to.
Nah, I think that was a good time.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, shit. I mean, I'm now since we talked about it, I'm in the mood to play Valkyria Chronicles again.
Yeah, okay. Tank Simulator.
Right. It's so fun, dude.
I bet.
Yeah, I just about forgot about it. But I'm going to have to get back into that.
Well, I won't bore you with all the details, but I've gotten back onto Lotro a little bit.
Oh, yes.
While I've been waiting on the updates for Grand Blue.
Middle Earth.
The Middle Earth is calling me. The fjords, they call for me.
Right.
If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, then just don't worry about it.
Get learnt.
The fjords, they call for me. So anyways, I'm I've been doing a lot of that. I've been hopping back on there. I've been really trying to get a few things like lined out on my account because I really want to try and convince. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the audience.
Right.
I just really want to get Dylan and Ethan to play Lotro with me, but I know it's probably not going to happen.
You never know.
But I can dream, can't I? Send me your positive vibes.
All right. No negative waves.
No negative waves, man.
Can you dig it?
Yeah, come on, baby. Give me those positive waves. Thank you guys for listening to this wacky ass show.
Yeah,
it makes me happy.
Really appreciate you,
especially nights like this where it's far too late and this is
down to the wire.
I mean, and you're talking about down to the wire, buddy. For those of you at home who try to keep track of when we actually do this, just imagine how late you think we do this, and go ahead and add an extra hour.
Yeah, that's usually a safe bet.
It's usually a safe bet. But anyways, I thank you for listening to this show. It's so fun to make it, and it
means the world.
And I want to do some more with this show. I want to have some more fun with it, and I want to try and sit down with Dylan in this next coming week, and try and figure out what to do because we've got so many opportunities,
so much stuff we could do,
and the YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, you guys!
Yeah, you've told me there's been some sort of exponential growth in that department.
I mean, I'm not going to say we're.
Right, we're not breaking any records.
No, we're not. But I would say for how we're. Oh gosh, if I could speak, for how
it's part of your job.
It's part of my job.
You're supposed to talk.
I can't. I'm tired.
It's too damn late. I'm too drowsy for this shit.
It's Barbara. For how frequent our listener base tunes in on like a podcasting app, YouTube is popping off a little quicker.
Yeah.
It's not happening. We're not breaking any records, but for our show, we're doing pretty good. And I want to say thank you.
Yeah. Big preach.
Yeah. Same thing with Ethan. Ethan's got About Nothing on the YouTube channel, and his episodes are doing pretty good.
You're so fucking funny, man.
Dude, we got a comment the other day from somebody. I forgot your name, but I appreciate your comment, my guy.
You know who you are.
You know who you are, and you said that our episode where we talked about Grand Blue potentially
convinced you to
give it a shot, and I was like, damn,
I was amazed.
We're out here actually
like people are actually listening to this shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Not only are they listening to it, but they're also like, damn, they actually have like
they're taking it to heart. Like Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it was like they're actually like,
don't. It's dangerous.
Stop. Quit making us sound bad, Dylan. I know. We have good opinions sometimes, and people like that.
Yeah, and
that's okay.
Sometimes,
if you want to listen to your favorite episodes, I think there's a comment feature you can do on Spotify as well. I'm not sure about the other apps or the other podcasting platforms, but if you want to, you can go into the YouTube channel. You can give us a like, and we really, really appreciate it. Or I think because it's on YouTube, you can also do like the YouTube Music app. I really don't know how it all works right now because I haven't actually fully.
It's so much like subsidiary.
Yeah, I don't.
Apps.
Right, but you can listen to podcasts on YouTube now, whether it be on the YouTube Music app or the YouTube app. You can just go into the search bar and type at Hindsight Studios and find the channel there. You can subscribe. You can give us a like, and like I said before, if you want to give us a little comment, that'd be appreciated. Just go ahead and tell me that. Just go ahead and tell me that you like me.
And or how much you hate me.
There you go. And just do a little 1-2 punch.
Right.
And
I won't see it regardless, but it'll be there.
And if we talk about a video game that gets you interested, let us know. That'd be really cool. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See you.
Bye-bye.